so I'm at 14th Street. I'm heading up north on the Courier bike from Breakaway Courier. Look at Brompton. High-end folding bike. Bromptons cost like between $1,000 and $2,000, you know, $2,000. They're really nice bikes from, I guess, England. Really good commuter bikes. And they fold up rather nicely, like a scooter size. Or a bag of golf clubs. So you bike over to St. Andrews, it's across the way, and shoot 9 and on with your day. Passing Chelsea Piers. It's a fun athletic complex here in New York City. On the right is one of the Frank Gehry buildings, which he said his art was inspired. He liked to fold paper as a child into little castles and like Lego size like fortresses and stuff. So that they seem organic, but they're not based on like Giant's Causeway or rock formations. He claims it's from his enjoying making little folding mountains and buildings as a kid with paper. Anyway, Frank Gehry, famous architect, talking about his days with his grandparents. Heading north after Chelsea Pier on 23rd, it'll open up to some nice gardens. I'll try and go by the water so you can see the west side. There's usually little foot traffic, so I can ride the bike by the pedestrian belt this time of day. It's still before 9 o'clock and it's warming up here in New York. I wore extra layers because the morning it's about 30 degrees and I get up at 5:30. But it's supposed to warm up to 50 today. Almost, so 45 to 50. So that's pretty warm for this time of year. Hey, Poppy! Hi! And, yeah. It's really nice in the summertime. It's one of my favorite little windy roads here in New York City. Welcome. This is one of my favorite windy roads. There are some gardens to the west by the north side of Chelsea Pier. So it has a really wonderful smell. It's amazing when you do these blocks in the summertime. So if you have a nice first date, want to go down to Chelsea Pier, grab a bite, or come down to one of these restaurants on the water, like I would take the lady, so to speak, or I would take your significant other down to Chelsea Pier. It'd be a fun first date. Bowling and arcades and basketball and skate park, still, it's active. This is the Frying Pan, and that's the #1 fireboat, which is still active. So you'll see on the 4th of July, they stream their water cannons go full out on the waters, and they tour around Lower Manhattan with Fire Company 1. My dad comes out to photograph it. Frying Pan is an active restaurant, and I don't know how expensive it is, but I hope you're having a good day. Sun is shining. Nice to have some sunshine. So, nice boat. Heading up north, I'm gonna go past the Intrepid so you can see the sailing school here. Port and starboard. You could learn your port and starboard. You could learn your fore and aft. And you could learn how to sail. Why am I laughing at the sailing? I told my dad if I was rich, I'd buy him a retirement boat. Which I never became rich. It's not yet. Dad was a U.S. Navy officer. So as we go up, I will show you the Intrepid. He served on an Essex-class carrier literally all over the world, Dad. Amazing life. Hopefully he's starting to write about it more. He's a Navy communications officer, crypto, during the Lebanon War. and served in Asia, served in the Middle East as an officer and as a boat officer with the U.S. Navy and Marines. This was Lebanon. Anyway, dad is dad. Doesn't talk that much, but he's a good dad. Heading past 34th Street. This is where a lot of the United States conventions happen when they come into New York. A lot of folks don't realize that here's Hudson Yards. Here's this recycling area that's getting bigger and bigger. They do mulch and see those big piles of recycled soil. And they go to various parks, and they've been spending a lot of money making the perimeter of New York this wonderful like oasis. I guess that's a tourist draw. I guess a lot of cities are doing that for tourism. So if you come to New York in the summer, spring and summer, you're going to see amazing flora and fauna all over the streets. It's a lot better than it was before 9/11. These are the convention halls. There's 6 blocks of it. Folks don't realize how massively large this convention center is. This I.M. Pei style international architecture. They have the auto show coming up, the boat show. They also have the New York City Marathon here in November. Let's see, Comic Con in October. Why am I going backwards? They have going forwards, the auto show, food festivals, like Shriners conventions. You know, any if you need a convention hall, you can rent one of these 6 blocks of convention halls. I guess everything from the Freemasons to your high school graduation. You know what I mean? Here in New York, a lot of college and high school graduations happen here. Just rent out a space here, and that's the Jacob Javits Convention Center. To the left are some of the tour boats and commuter ferries from Jersey. Across the waters is New Jersey. So they have some water taxi type boats, New York waterways. So you can come right across, drive your car up to the water on the Jersey side, pay like $5, come across, hop on one of these buses, and if you work in Midtown, it's probably a big time saver and money saver, because I'm sure that parking on that side is a lot less than the municipal garages in New York that are 50 to 100 or more a day or whatever they are. It's like having to rent an apartment in your car. All right. Eat tacos on a boat is relatively new compared to the Lobster Shack here at 81. You can see the buoys on the side of the this famous Lobster Shack. We can get closer to that. This is the Lobster House here. It's been around since I was a kid. And my dad, being in the Navy, we used to go up to Maine for vacations and drive around. So the lobster buoys from the various companies. So each buoy is for a specific company. So they're color marked. And that's pretty much honored. You don't take the lobster traps from another company. It's colored buoys. And it's the way it worked on the honor system. This circle line, and we're approaching the Intrepid. So, yeah, I remember being up in Maine, the icy dock lines. You'd pull them out of the water, and there'd be these metal cages with lobsters and crabs trapped in them, and sometimes starfish, and sea anemones and jellyfish. And then the captain would come over, take out the lobsters, maybe a few crabs, throw everything else back. But they had like an off-ramp, like a slide. And they just throw the other sea creatures down the slide, zoop, and go back in the ocean. Alright, this is, you can see a Tomcat, a stealth fighter, some other American planes from the 50s and 60s even. And this is the Intrepid. It's an Essex class carrier in service throughout the 50s and 60s even. These are old ships. Look how massively large it is. And if you check out modern day cruise ships, some of them almost dwarf even these aircraft carriers. Folks don't realize that the United States has the most aircraft carriers of any standing military. The U.S. has the most number of aircraft carriers. I think that like some countries only have 2 or 3, even some of the big superpowers, only 2 or 3 aircraft carriers. But America is very proud of their aircraft carrier fleet. In fact, formations begin with the aircraft carrier in the middle, and as they tour around, you don't get to the aircraft carrier. There's destroyers and submarines surrounding it, so it's not easy to go broadside on an aircraft carrier from the United States, that's for sure. So they have a ring of ships around them. Hope everyone is well. So this run, it goes up to a 76. My hand is starting to freeze because I'm not wearing a glove. Hey, what's up? Hit the gritty, says Rafael Nadoa. Please. Hit the gritty. My Sean Christian. Hi, I love your videos. Hey, thanks, man. Just still trying. Hello from Trisha Hall. Hello from New York City, 50th Street. Passing some Musica. Down here, some of the big Sony studios are down here, doing your latest studio recordings of hip-hop, R&B, and classical music. Musica. Hustler Club, never been there, but always pass it looking at that parking on top of it and some statuesque blonde that they always put up on the billboard. We're heading north. I gotta put a glove on. My hands are friggin' freezing. 52nd. So when we get to Trump Towers on the west side here, there's some condos on 70th Street. I will go up the hill and then make this first drop for today on the e-bike. Battery is being drained mad fast, down to 10%. So I might pull over at the choo-choo train and put a battery on. Cell phone is draining fast in the cold. But that's cool. I'm gonna pull over on a bench and put a glove on my hand. And if you find a gaggle of geese grazing in the grass, say that 10 times fast. I guess they all flew south for the winter, duh. The famous goose grazing area here in New York. At Pier 95. I'm gonna pull over by the Bottle, Captain's Quarters, and put this down on the bench so you can check out the waters and not say peep. Whew. All right, thanks for checking out my stream, guys. Alright, here we go, y'all. Disconnected. Alright, on we go, y'all. So these are the sanitation buildings of New York City, and it's not as large as the complex up on 125th, and there's no like athletic fields, but they're building like a playground there, which is just odd because it's like a garbage and sewer treatment plant, and it's just odd. And you have garbage trucks that come and go here. We're gonna go up on 70th, but first I'm gonna go to Pier 1, but I'm gonna cut here, show you the river and the George Washington Bridge, because we're heading up north. I was watching the news last night, the migrant crisis, and because the attacks on the New York City police, two of our officers who didn't pull their guns, by the way, on the 7 youths who physically assaulted them, which they could have done. And those teenagers skipped town. I think they were caught in New Mexico or something, or another state. So there was no bail, so they ran. They left the state. But it's one of these pivotal cases where it's like, what are we going to do about the influx? Like, what if they're shipping thousands of people by bus from Texas, and then the U.S. is New York is mayor's bouncing around. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed New York. Here's your one-way ticket to California. Then they go by plane or bus out of town. How do you handle these mass migrations? They're not birds. How do you find homes and food, employment for these mass migrations? But because the police were assaulted, and remember, New York has because of the spike in crime since COVID, less people are joining the NYPD. They're not getting new recruits at the rate that they used to, even in our fine city. And it's one of the top news stories now, is what to do about this. What they did, though, was a scooter without a license plate, an e-scooter, like the one I'm riding. This is a company scooter. The workers who work for freelance courier companies, it works like this. You just get an app, you get a cell phone, you log on to, it doesn't have to be DoorDash, Caviar, or whatever. Just get an ID or a false ID. And then you set up an account. You can get courier work online pretty easily on apps, because there's a constant need, because business is business. So there were hundreds of scooters with no licenses, $1,000 scooters, $2,000 that were either stolen or legit bought at e-bike stores. And because the police were assaulted in Times Square, there's like a parking on the street where hundreds of scooters were. The police just clipped all of the ones with no license plate. So all those dozens of people who had bikes and were barely making food money and grocery money just by having a delivery app job, all those guys are screwed. Whether the bike was stolen or not, all those bikes are gone. So is that better for like a real courier company like Breakaway? I suppose for business is business, but what does that mean for these migrants that have no other means of income? There have been some really scary videos though of these young people, teens and in their 20s, especially if it's a woman on a bicycle, like just knocking her off, dragging her down the street literally until she lets go just to get that scooter so they can work. So the police are cracking down on all scooters without license plates. And I was gonna buy an e-bike or an e-scooter for like $1,500 or whatever, but because of this assault in Times Square, right at the heart of New York City, media people are saying that's a black guy. That'll reduce tourism. Folks won't come to New York if they don't think they're going to be safe, to be the target of violence. That's how countries lose their tourism trade, if their tourists are not safe and protected by the police. So it's a big issue this February before we get to springtime tourism. They want that off the media airwaves. It's an embarrassment to the city. That's just from a business perspective. From a social perspective, there are tens of thousands of literally homeless people encamped on in city parks and by the airports, getting rationed food from the World Health Organization and UNICEF. How long can that last? And no English speaking skills, no employment skills, and sure, some of them actually, no, some of them have, of course, have employable skills, but no green cards. And yeah, so I gotta make sure I lock my bike securely. I think getting a lock. I had several bikes stolen doing this, but that means on red alert for bike couriers. If the police are going to confiscate thousands of bikes till they find the gangs that are stealing the bikes, and until the police are no longer physical targets, that's the crackdown. Is going to cause maybe I'll get more work at the company, but yeah, those folks who had their bikes impounded or destroyed by the police department, right? Because who actually has an ID to go to the compound pick up their bike, for example? That's the crazy part. So got to make sure that the bike theft rings are not targeting my bike. So I've lost a few. I lost a Giant, I lost an SE, I lost several because the lock was either cut or I forgot to lock it. But my mind's on other things, you know. My mind's on tutoring math, my mind's on paying bills, and I'm not thinking about it. That's what I gotta think about. All right, we're here on the Upper West Side. Welcome. All right, again, shout out to Trisha Hall. Hope you guys have a great day. You and your loved ones. Peace, you guys. Stay hopeful. I'm still working. You're on the extra cycle, and I'm working. you know, not one job, but several, just to make ends meet. Thanks again to my folks for helping me out financially during these years. I'm in a teacher talent pool now, so hopefully that'll lead to some more work. And what can I tell you? What can I tell you? It's been a lot of years since 9/11. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, also my dental appointment was rescheduled. Bye.